All right, just to make sure that we're good so there's no confusions before you start, make sure it's customary, then metric, then between systems. Make sure it's in order. This is not going to go well for you. All right, so open up the first spot. We have to convert length, weight, and capacity. Capacity is another word for volume. Capacity is another word for volume. So first we got to fill in our lengths. 1 foot is going to be 12 inches. 1 yard is 36 inches. 1 yard is also 3 feet. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And 1 mile is 1,760 yards. Weight, 1 pound is 16 ounces. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. And then capacity or volume, 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. There's ounces and fluid ounces. Make sure you're reading those carefully. 1 pint is 2 cups. 1 quart is 2 pints. 1 quart is 4 cups. 1 gallon is 4 quarts. Go ahead and pause the video. Fill in those numbers if you haven't yet. All right, so now getting into the actual problems. The first one, we have 9 feet, and we want to know how many inches that's going to be. When we're solving these problems, we still want to be setting up proportions to help us solve them. So we need to learn what we did and remember what we did in the past to help us solve these problems. When you're going through filling these out, first, you want to start off with a word ratio. We've done these before. We want to set up a word ratio of what units we're trying to compare. So for this first one, we're trying to compare feet and inches. So I want to set up my ratio with feet and inches. For this, it does not matter what goes on top or bottom, just that the numbers stay where they need to stay. The numbers stay with their units. So after we have our word ratio, then we want to fill in the information from the conversion. We want the conversion information that we know from the chart. So I need to know the conversion between feet and inches. Where is that on here? Up top, it tells me that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So I need to fill in those numbers here. The foot is on top, so 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. That's my conversion information. And remember, a proportion is just 2 equivalent fractions. Then I want to fill in with what I'm trying to solve for. In this problem, I know I have 9 feet, so I need to fill that in up top. And I'm trying to solve for how many inches that is. There's a few different ways that you can solve it. The first way that I'm going to say that you could solve this is you want to think to yourself, how do I get from 1 to 9 proportionally? What number am I multiplying to go from 1 to 9? 9. And again, since this is a proportional relationship, since these are equivalent fractions, I need to do the same thing down here. So I want to take 12 times 9, and that's going to give me my answer. So go ahead, pause the video, multiply 12 times 9 for me. 12 times 9 is 108. So that means that 9 feet is going to be 108 inches. That's one way to solve it. That's one way to solve it. Now for this one, we're going to do a different way. We still want to start off with a word ratio. In this problem, we are trying to compare 7,040 yards, and we want to know how many miles that is. So in my word ratio, what two units am I comparing? Yards and miles. So I'm going to put yards over miles. Again, it does not matter which one goes on top or bottom for this. It just matters that the numbers are in the right spots. So now that we have our word ratio, we want to fill in with our conversion information. Again, our conversion information is going to come from our chart. So if I'm comparing yards and miles, I see that right here, 1 mile is 1,760 yards. So for my yards, I have to make sure I put that yards number up top. I have 1,760 yards for 1 mile. Again, they're proportional, so I can set them equal to each other. And my second fraction, that's what I'm trying to solve for. That's what I'm trying to solve for. That's the information from my problem. So I know I have 7,040 yards. So do I want to put that on top or bottom? It needs to go on top because that's where all my yards are. So I need 7,040 yards over, we want to figure out how many miles that's going to be. So on this situation, it's kind of hard to see 1,760 times what number is going to give me that 7,040. But there's another way that you can solve it. What you can do to solve this problem is you can do butterfly multiplying or cross multiplication. The first thing, you're going to take the numbers that are diagonal from each other and you're going to multiply them together. So I need to take 7,040 times 1. That's going to give me 7,040. After I multiply the numbers that are diagonal from each other, I then need to divide by that number that's left out. So I need to do 7,040 divided by 1,760. Don't worry, you get Desmos on this. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to do my 7,040 divided by 1,760. And I see that that's going to give me 4 miles. $7,040 yards is equal to 4 miles. Alrighty, I want you guys to go ahead and try setting up number 3 on your own. Start off with your word ratio, then input your conversion information, and solve it. Just try number 3. Just try number 3. Pause your video. Try solving that problem all on your own. So you should get that 4 pounds is equal to 64 ounces. I like to do my L's as cursive L's just so I don't confuse them with the number 1. So I'm comparing pounds and ounces. 1 pound is 16 ounces. Again, there's pounds and ounces, and then there's cups and fluid ounces. Do not get those ounces confused. I know the conversion rate. Again, 1 pound is 16 ounces. 4 pounds is how many ounces? When I solved this, I looked at that pattern between 1 and 4, and I multiplied times 4. So 16 times 4 gave me 64. Again, there's other ways that you can do this. You do whatever makes your heart happiest. So go ahead and stop this video. Work on those next 3 problems and check the answer sheet once you've got them done to make sure you're on the right track. Once you're done with customary, go ahead and flip next to metric.